being used now, which is gripping everyone in fear and in shock, where people are actually dying.
John was walking in the park on his way to meet his friend to go to the movies. But what he didn't know was that because he bought some drugs off a dealer in this area and then paid the dealer back, the dealer got angry and wanted his money. So he told some guys to beat him up for a warning. When John saw that he was being followed, he was thinking he was going to get robbed, so he tried to run away. But the two guys caught him. John tried to fight them off. And because the bad guys didn't want to get caught, they decided to stab him, so he wouldn't tell the police. After they stabbed him, they ran away and left John on the floor. A passerby sees John on the floor and tries to help him by calling an ambulance, but it was too late.
It is a case where people's lives, being severely curtailed because of that one moment of madness, one moment where they haven't stopped to think.
Try not to find yourself in the role of defender of the court, because it is not a great pathway in life.
Most of them got kicked out of school and that, so they just want to just make money. Like they don't really want to cause no trouble. It's not even about like causing trouble and stuff like that. To them it's just straight money and some fast lane in it to get rich quick. That's what they're on.
You grow up within the city of London on a council estate, on benefits. There's not much choices you have to make apart from try your best to get out of that situation, and young people basically get that mistaken by going to sell drugs to try to get rich or die trying scenarios. It doesn't work. I went to prison, I done the whole gang thing, sold drugs. Now I came out of prison and I decided to change my path. Young people need to understand that the system's there for them to help them and for them to even move out and to disengage from type of gang lifestyle. Use it to their advantage. Are you a leader of your own path? Or are you a follower? You're going to follow these people to your death or to prison. Make that choice.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you see the same people around you that are in your gang? Do you see them with a job, with a house, with a family? Because if not, then you're doing nothing to yourself but harming your own dreams.
When I was 14, I thought that living the criminal lifestyle was something cool and something that, I don't know, you just want to be with your friends and be in that sort of lifestyle, and you kind of get caught up in it and you start doing things, and before you realize it, you're sitting before a judge being sentenced.
You just fall into this spiral that's downhill all the way, because you lose control of your own destiny, basically. In someone else's hands.
I worked in Felton for 18 months, and while I was in there, you had 8 young people serving life sentences. That's 8 young people under the age of 21 that didn't know when they would be released. I had a young guy who was age 18 who was serving a life sentence, and his recommendation was that he served 19 years. Now, every day I came into the unit and I spoke to him, all he said to me was, I'm going to have to stay in prison longer than I've been alive. How do I deal with that? I had no answer for him.
A gang is a really, really short-term thing. If you're lucky to stay alive being in a gang, you can tell from all the previous gang members that mentor younger people in gangs now. And they're trying to tell you, don't be like me. Don't do what I did. Don't make the choices I made.
You need to be careful about getting into it, because you need to think about, how am I going to get out? If I need to get out, usually the only way to get out is to leave. Like, move completely away from them. Because most people who run gangs are intensely paranoid, and they have to, because what they're doing isn't legal.
If you know that your friend's going to stab someone, and you know how he is in that, and then say like you didn't do nothing, but you know you're going to stab him, and you're trying to stop it, and then it still happens, I don't think that you should really get in trouble for that.
You see something taking place, you're not involved, but you're still there watching. Yeah, that makes you involved.
With it so serious how it's gone now, it's taken a lot of the youth that's not as bad as the person that did do the murder away. For someone that could have just been there when a murder was going on, a person still could get charged for joint enterprise.
You choose to be with a group of people that you know are going to do harm to another person.
Sometimes you don't know.
Listen, at any point you could have walked away. You chose to stay. And then that bad thing unfolds itself in front of your eyes and you choose to stay. And then maybe that person dies and you walk away and you don't call the police and you don't tell anyone and you walk away. Your choice. So when the police and the judicial system come at you and find you and ask you all of those questions and say, at this point, what did you do? At this point, what did you do? At this point, what did you do? And at this point, what did you do? What will you say and how will you feel?
You leave grandmas, granddads, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, auntie, uncles, not even to mention children and friends, and you know, there's so much trail of destruction when one person dies. My son died 2004 and his mum, she has not recovered, have not recovered. I just saw my son just now and he's told me that they're all sitting around the house, and when it gets to this time of the year, they don't want to go nowhere, they don't want to do nothing. It's just one of those things, David. It's not nice, it's not easy. Because it's the time of the year now when it's getting... I can't do it now. I actually stopped it just now because of the emotions, but then if what I'm saying can stop even one person from picking up a gun to shoot another man, then I'll be happy.
If you keep yourself out of the gang, of the postcode gang thing, then you're out of it, really. But if you put yourself in it, then you're just digging a hole for yourself.
One road separates two postcodes, literally, in Hackney. My mum moved from that area to this area. Then I started getting involved with these guys on this side of the road. Two of my friends had a fallout. Two of my close friends had a fallout. One killed the other. Now, that became a problem to me because what do I do with that? That's what I'm saying. Everyone else is taking sides already, but I'm still sitting in the middle. They never accepted that this is the game and this is what it carries, you know? So, since then, since I was, 16, there's been a conflict in Hackney between both areas. And to this day now, that conflict hasn't finished. Now, because, why? You've got the older generation like myself has moved out of Hackney, starting a new life, while the younger generation coming up underneath us, continuing that conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because you've got certain individuals that are gaining from that conflict, so they'll keep that fueling for as long as possible.
Like when I used to be 13, 14, I used to roll with all the youngers and all the tinies and everything, innit? There used to be more of us, but now everyone's either going to prison, getting sent back home, or dying.
I knew this guy from a young age, and he got sentenced to 15 years in prison, and throughout that time I've gone to college, I've gone to university, I've graduated, and he's still in there, and I just see it as a waste of a life.
A lot of guys, when they come out of prison, they're lost. That's why they call them institutionalized. So they come out, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to start themselves off, they don't know what to think. You can count out of 10, maybe 3 that will come out and have that progression to do something successful.
Well, the criminal record is one of the worst things that can happen because, like me, mine followed me from 16. I realised that that criminal record, in some ways, messed up what I really wanted to do, because more than anything else, I wanted to do law.
I joined the gang life when I was about 15, after my mum died. I was sleeping rough out on the streets and whatnot, and you know, doing a bit of crime here and there. Kind of just generated and hanged around with the older 28s, because that's what I used to be in the 28s, the younger 28s. One thing about crime, it goes through a rough patch. That rough patch makes you get greedy and dependent. then you start doing things that you never used to do. And then you get caught. Out of 10, there's only one criminal mind, yeah, that basically maybe gets through. You know why he gets through? He stops. He stops.
Why not choose another pathway that preserves your freedom, gives you your liberty, continue to empower you so that you can be all you can be?
So you've got to think about the consequences to your actions. Because everything you do now will have a consequence. At the minute, we're going through this kind of short-term era where everybody wants things and they want things now. Think long-term and things will happen in the right way rather than short-term if things going wrong.
Sometimes we don't even realise. Sometimes we just find ourselves in a particular group. We say, yeah, that person's cool, that person's all right. But we don't really stop to think, you know, what kind of impact they have on my life? What kind of impact may they have? And you know, how influential they are.
It's so easy to get sidetracked into the wrong route. We have so much potential, but we don't understand sometimes. So I try and steer them in the direction of maximising the opportunity and fulfilling their potential. I've seen the development in loads of young kids into not just better players in terms of football, but better people in terms of people for the community.
I help out at the youth centre, Knights Youth Centre, trying to keep the kids positive. You know, my family's always been on the streets. You know what I'm saying? I think people see a lot of the kids nowadays and they've just got a lot of negative thoughts about them. And at the end of the day, a lot of the kids, you know, I wouldn't even say they need love, I'd just say they need a lot of direction, you know, and a lot of activities to do. You know what I mean? Because if you ain't got things